What's up everyone, welcome to Craft Shop. In this video, I'm going to be forging a San Mai everyday carry knife. Now if you're into bladesmithing and you want to start forge welding, start doing Damascus, San Mai is a great place to start. So I'm going to go through my process a little bit in this video. If you've got any more questions, please feel free to shoot them my way. Let's get started. I decided to go with 5 layers on this billet. I'm using 15N20 and 01 tool steel. I started off by cleaning the pieces, and now I'm hitting them with some flux cord wire. And now right into the forge. As usual, I'm using borax to flux the sides of the billet. Now to bring this up to welding heat. Once it's ready, I set the welds in the press. Now some touch up at the anvil to square up the edges a bit. And back to the press to start dropping the thickness and drawing out the billet. Here I am starting to forge the point of the blade. The design of this knife is simple. I'm going for a very small belly to the blade with a sharp, almost Tonto style drop point. The handle will be tapered to the back and will remain almost boxed. So the forging process for this profile is pretty basic. So I've forged more steel than I'll be needing, so I'll be cutting the billet with the grinder to save whatever I don't need. Now I'm just focusing on tapering the handle and refining the drop point. Using the grinders, I'll clean up the profile. My vertical grinder's been a bit weird lately, so I chose to grind the bevels horizontally on my 4x36. I'm starting at 60 grit and I'm working towards about 220. So I noticed I was out of drill bits. Rather than run to the store, I decided to punch the holes on this one. Now I'll be preparing for quench. I start off by preheating the oil. And here I'm normalizing the blade a few times to clean up the grain structure after forging. I chose to edge quench this blade. After a few seconds, I plunge the rest of the blade into the oil. And now I'll go ahead and clean up the blade and run it through its temper cycles. After it's tempered, I'll clean up the bevels of the grinder. I'm being very careful not to overheat the blade, so I'm dipping it in water every few passes. Before I move on to higher polishing, I'll get started on the handle. For this knife, I'm using zebra wood, Bacote, and black G10 liners. Using a two-step epoxy, I'll get these components glued up. Now I'll go ahead and get the blade polished. I'm polishing it up to about 800 before etching. After that's settled, I'll square up the scales and drill some holes. I'm using a 3/16 brad point drill. Once the holes are made, I'll trace the blade onto the scales and get them shaped on the bandsaw. After cleaning and degreasing the blade, I'm etching it in ferric chloride. After a couple etching cycles, I'll lightly repolish the blade to bring out the San Mai pattern. And now I'm ready to glue up the handle. Again, I'm using two-step epoxy. Once it's dry, I'll start shaping the handle. I'm using the slack belt on my 1x30. I prefer smaller belts for blades this size. And here I'm just working the handle up in grits, starting at 120 and working towards about 320. Now I'm oiling the handle with boiled linseed oil. I'll oil this until it no longer soaks in. I also recommend a good 2 to 3 hours soak in a vessel of oil. After that, I'll sand off the raised grain and work up to about 400 grit. Now to finish the handle with some woodsman wax. And I'm just buffing this in with a towel. And there's the finished knife. Well, thank you all so much for watching. This knife was a whole lot of fun to make, and I'm really excited about the way it came out. And for those of you who are interested, I'm actually running a giveaway for not only this knife, but a piece of artwork from my other company, Heartlander Supply. So it's a collaboration giveaway between my two companies. Entering this giveaway is super easy. You don't have to buy a raffle ticket, nothing like that. It's completely free. And if you're interested, I'll have a link down below that you can follow so you can learn how to enter. Let me know what you thought about the video. Leave some comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.